We are back after a busy weekend here in Milwaukee. It's Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices, WNOV, 860, 106.5 FM. Bryan Sanders, Community Outreach Organizer with Wisconsin Voices, alongside the guest co-hosts in the building. Go ahead, tell the folks like they already know who you are, but yeah, you know.
I've been around this block a couple times.
Yeah.
Been in this studio a couple dozen times.
Yeah.
David Bowen, former state rep, current executive director for Wisconsin Voices.
What's going on, David? How you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good. It was a good weekend, and
Yeah.
it was a lot of love in the community.
Yeah,
I dropped up to a number of things. How about you?
Yeah, I did too. I know earlier we was talking about in the meeting. I ended up popping out to a couple events. Like I was saying, I just try to keep that repetition to go out and see what's going on. And sometimes I gotta get a heads up. So if y'all got anything that I missed out or anything I need to be on this week, please let me know. But yeah, stop that. Shout out to Beacon of Hope. They had something on 16th and Howard at the park over there. Went over to Outlet App, who we had in studio a few months ago, which is Brittany Thompson and her business partner over there. Excuse me for forgetting your name, sir, but we had them on the show a few months ago. They dropped the Outlet app, Jermaine. Yeah,
man. I seen it. My boy C-Note.
Chad Rope. I was close to his pops. I loved Mr. Roper. Shout out to Mr. Roper. Shout outs to C-Note too.
C-Note.
That's actually the spirit of Mama Rose when you getting out into the community and doing different things. So her funeral was this Saturday. So rest in peace and power to her.
Absolutely.
Just an amazing now ancestor for us. So amazing woman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you so what type of, as far as your events, was they more community based, or was it some? I did go to Bastille Days. I still feel like anything that's still community, even though it was downtown in the mix. Did you get to go to any of the Bastille events or any of the outside festivals, or what was your focus this week?
Yeah, I had a chance to hang out a bit. And shouts out to the folks that ran the Storm the Bastille.
Did you run?
Like some Social X folks. And, saw Tania out there, a number of those folks. So it was really good vibes out there.
Okay.
Did I run? No, I should have ran.
Yeah,
I should have ran.
That was my plan last year, was to get out there. I was like, I got to do it. And then I look online.
It's like 5K, right?
Yeah. See, I'm good for
5K. Is not too bad.
It's not too bad. Yeah,
we could do it 5K.
Yeah.
But like if you just breaking off the rest and you just getting back in it, you about to have
and it was a little warm that night too. So everybody was down there. It was packed. I mean, the turnout looked like it was about the same as last year. So and it looks like speaking of turnouts, speaking of festivals, it looked like Summerfest hit over 500,000 plus this year again. It was about 603 or something like that, or 617 or something like that. So people were still coming back from the pandemic, trying to get folks out. I know some people are still a little nervous to get out into the big crowds. I got some family members that are a little, apprehensive on the big crowds still themselves. Like, we can slide through, but I ain't trying to be in the big crowd still. A friend of mine still had COVID. I mean, the COVID is still popping up, just like, I guess, like they said, it's gonna be like a flu now, huh? Mm-hmm. You'll hear about it and then they'll fade off. But the festival events, man, if it's anything that y'all got going on that we need to know about, please tap in with us, Wisconsin Voices, whether it's through communications, our executive director David Bowen himself, myself at in the community outreach organizing, or anybody on our team. We would love to be there to support. And that's about it.
Yeah, no, that's a really good look. And I totally forgot the Air and Water Show.
Oh yeah, I did. So I went to that.
I did catch a couple glimpses of the Blue Angels flying around. Always good energy. A lot of people are out.
Shout out to, look, I have to let people know there is a Black Blue Angel. If you didn't watch it,
is that right?
Yeah. So Amazon Prime. Okay. I was showing my aunt and her boyfriend yesterday. They were we all went to the show yesterday, and we were showing. I was like, I watched the Amazon video or Amazon documentary last year about the Blue Angels, and it spoke about Mr. Julius Bratton, nicknamed Whiskers, who is number 5 in the Jets. So yesterday I was scouting out number 5,
trying to find it. Okay,
yeah. So I did find him. He was on the left hand side doing his thing. So it's dope seeing the brother in the air, representing, for the Black community, as far as in a space that is extremely hard to get into when it comes to aviation. So if you want to check out that documentary, go to Amazon Prime. I know y'all got it because y'all be on Amazon all the time, and then go to the Blue Angels documentary, and you'll see just how detailed it is. And my appreciation ever since, even with that, I already knew how detailed Blue Angels was, but just watching that and just watching the synchronizing and how cold they are when it comes to communicating over the over the system when it's time to make a move. It just it just heightens your respect for the Blue Angels. So shout out to the Blue Angels and the Milwaukee Air and Water Show for doing their thing this past week.
Yeah. Next is up is the EAA Air Venture show out in Oshkosh. So a lot of people go out there. I went out there for the last time, either last year or the year before. I think it was maybe 2 years ago. Really, like, it's insane the amount of aircraft that they have coming in. So if you are a aircraft enthusiast, if you like the vibes of being around aircraft that are that big, that small, that fast, that like, it's everything in between. And it's something unique that is not too far from our backyard. So
the seriousness with planes is like they'll take a smaller plane, like a one of those Cessna styles, and they'll take and throw 2 Corvette engines in there, and that just show you how strong you have to have and how much thrust you got to have. And that's on a light scale,
literally,
right? Yeah. That's on a light scale compared to that, and that's like small flying compared to the extreme thrust and power that you can get even from like a small jet. Like I follow this one one company. They make this small little jet. It's like, sounds crazy, it's 2.5 million, but it's like a jet that's like it's been real popular amongst like smaller people who want to fly jets but can't afford like a real private jet. But it's like a 6-seater. It's like real luxurious in the inside. It looked like a BMW or something in the inside. But it's pretty dope watching. If they have that up there, I might want to go up there and see if it's in person and check it out. But it's just cool to see like all the levels of jet sizes and jets and how the luxury in these have gotten to the point where they're trying to make it quote unquote affordable to the people who got it in certain spaces. But yeah, I'm gonna check out the EAA if I can get up there. Is it this weekend?
It's this upcoming week.
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe not. Okay.
Yeah, but we always want to highlight the events of our partners. So I'm glad you highlight that, so that
of course
they can make sure that they're getting in touch with us and that we can get their information out there.
Yeah, and please call in if it's anything that you want to let us know. Y'all got our number 414-444-5253. Me and David was talking in the office earlier before we came in, and we were just I had mentioned to him that the air quality was a little rough today. So before we dive into today's lineups, I want to talk about something that's affecting us all in Milwaukee, which is the air quality here in Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. So whether you're headed to work or taking the kids outside or just stepping off of some fresh air, you deserve to know what the air is like and what the current situation is. So as far as in Milwaukee, the current AQI around 84, which is the air quality, which is considered moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups, including children, seniors, and folks with respiratory conditions. So at times, neighborhoods hit AQI levels around 108 to 117. I know back in June, we had hit that with some of the wildfires and some of the other air quality I had mentioned last month, or maybe beginning of June or end of May, which was that 108 to 117 was teetering to unhealthy for sensitive groups, which is reported by Bloom Labs Air Report. So the key pollutants is the PM2 2.5, which is fine particle matter under 2.5 microns, which has been hovering over our city, which is 4 times the World Health Organization's annual guideline and contributes to haze and lung irritation. Now, I want to break that part down because I know some people were like, all right, okay, what does that mean as far as the PM 2.5 and the 40, I think it's M3. I don't know. It's pretty deep. So here's a way to break it down that y'all may want to know. There's something called PM2 2.5, just a fancy name for really tiny pollution particles. So small, in fact, they're about 30 times smaller than a grain of sand. These particles come from things like cars, trucks, factories, and even wildfires. And I know we just had some wildfires floating around the city of Milwaukee and the surrounding areas. Now, here's the issue. Milwaukee's PM 2.5 levels are about 4 times higher than what the World Organization says is safe over the long term. When these particles are in the air, they can get deep into your lungs, and they can lead to coughing, asthma attacks, or even heart problems if you got other health conditions. Excuse me. Now, you might not always see it, but the sky looks hazy, or if you feel irritation in your throat or chest, that could be why. This pollution doesn't affect everyone equally. It hits harder in Black and brown communities in low-income neighborhoods where air quality is already a concern. So keep in mind of the air apps. Wear a mask if you need it, especially for anybody that has those breathing issues. And if you have breathing issues, so take it serious today. Support policies that push for cleaner air in Milwaukee. And because of what we breathe isn't just science, it is justice. We won't be around if we don't have air quality that is around for all of us to breathe in. So this is something that's not affecting just any. This is just not. It's not a partisan situation. Let's go ahead and pay attention to that. And also for y'all that's actually having asthma and not taking it serious, please take your lungs serious. I've seen people that I've known personally that have had asthma for years, and they leave out the house, don't have they pump. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Why does this matter? Health impacts. Short-term exposure to PM2 can worsen asthma, bronchitis, heart conditions, and cause coughing or throat irritation. So environmental equity is what we're talking about here. Pollution hotspots are more prevalent in lower income neighborhoods, as we were saying. It's raising serious environmental justice concerns. So those living near major highways, which we do have a lot of that in our inner cities here, industrial zones, we do have a lot of, not too much, I guess more mainly towards, going towards the downtown and south side and areas, but we do have a lot of industrial places or former industrial places or urban centers that face greater daily exposure. And it gets go into like the political issues of that. So it talks about some of the communities that are pushing for how communities are pushing for stricter emission standards and more comprehensive monitoring and resources for air filtration. Schools and community centers. I hope that we are updating our air filters. Also, update your air filters in your house. If you need to do that as well, this might be the perfect time to get you a filter for your for the house and make sure you're circulating some better air.
Yeah, and that air filter in your air conditioner.
Oh yeah, that too.
On those units, but it really highlights. We have a number of partners that focus on conservation and climate change issues, environmental issues. So it's really important that we highlight this is the air that we all breathe, that we all have to breathe, and it's going to be affected by different things when it comes to the wildfires that can be as far as Canada, and that smoke will come into the Midwest or. With just the different dynamics, climate change is real, and we definitely need to make sure that we are doing everything that we can to prioritize how clean our air is and the solutions that we can bring to the table to handle that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I know right here they do also. They got some excuse me. They got some apps. Use air apps like IQ Air. That's one for you to check the air quality. So again, that's IQ Air for my app downloaders that are listening. Purple Air, again, that's Purple Air for my app folks that are listening. Air Now to see real-time AQI updates before heading out. And then you got protection. We got mask still floating around, I'm sure, from COVID that you were wearing. Consider wearing an N95 mask or running home air filters on higher pollution days. So we circling back, just like we were speaking about, run that air to kind of circulate it. And I think that's the topic right there. We just want to make sure that whether you're on a bus stop, take your kids to the park or wherever you are in the community, you want to make sure that y'all are just keeping up to date, knowing what's going on. And we felt like that was important here at Wisconsin Voices.
Just double checking. Do I see 2 calls online? Oh, that's not calls. Okay,
perfect. Not yet. Perfect. Yeah, not yet. All right. So should we? You want to hop straight into it? I know we got some weekly political updates. And
let's jump into that.
Okay. So we got go off into the Supreme Court, knock that out. So we got record-breaking Supreme Court spending. This spring, 2025, Wisconsin Supreme Court race shattered previous records. A total spending topped $115 million, nearly doubled the previous high. Wow.
And that's on top of having the most expensive Supreme Court race in Wisconsin history last year. Or was that last? Everything's a blur now. Yeah. Last year or earlier this year?
What was that?
It might have been. No, it was earlier this year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it's 2025. So it doesn't feel like time is moving too quick.
Yeah, it is.
Time is moving.
The world did speed up a couple weeks ago. I don't know if y'all paid attention to that. It was like a millisecond or something like that. But we did. I think it was July. It was a couple weeks ago. The world did spin up.
That not just feels like that. It actually is.
It really is going on. Yeah, the body is telling you if you're feeling it, you're right. Yeah. So what do you think about that, Dave? Just to highlight that. What does that tell you as far as being in the mix or people that within these spaces? What is that saying about like future races?
Well, we're very much invested into making sure our democracy is operating as efficient and as secure as possible. So to have another Supreme Court election now coming up, which will be in the spring of 2026, before some of the bigger races that we'll also see, but it'll be a very important race, and you're seeing Judge Chris Taylor out of Madison already announced that she is running. She is out raising a lot of money, a lot of resources to be able to get her message out and to connect with folks all over the state. I had a chance to serve with Judge Chris Taylor when she was a state representative in the state legislature. So big shouts out to her. She's working hard, but you have not seen an official announcement from what would be likely her opponent, Judge Rebecca Bradley. And she has not raised any money either. So there actually is a good amount of speculation if Supreme Court Justice Bradley will even run for re-election to serve in the state Supreme Court for another term. So some interesting dynamics are happening there. Maybe folks in her camp are not sure if now is the time for her to take that move. And to go through another election battle. But we know that folks in Wisconsin very much do pay attention to Supreme Court races. That was proven in the last Supreme Court race, where unhandedly that race was decided pretty much in a landslide victory. So there's some dynamics that are happening right there, and a lot of eyes will still be on Wisconsin moving forward for that Supreme Court race coming up.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks like it's going to be part two of what we just seen. Maybe with or without as much, I guess, outside influence, to say the least, from the last time. So it looks like it's already some influence coming from some spaces I was reading earlier.
The influence that they had, and big shouts out to Law Forward. They are another organization that works on protecting democracy, and they are suing Elon Musk because talk about interference. He actually was out passing out I forgot how big the checks were, just like checks for folks to engage them around the race, and he was giving away money. So he was trying to influence the Supreme Court race with his wealth, and that backfired. A lot of people did not like that, his candidate that he wanted to win did not win.
Yeah, definitely seen that one. Yeah, so we'll be looking forward to seeing what's going on with that and all the other lawsuits that are coming on. Thank you for giving your view on that. Okay, is it time, sir? You should go ahead and run a break real quick. Come back. Hey, we will come back. Be Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices, more political topics. Of course, the highlights. A lot of stuff that went on this past weekend, so we'll make sure we just hitting it from different angles. I got any questions for us? Please tap in 414-444-5253. Again, with Bryan and Executive Director David Bowen over here at WNOV. We'll be back. We're back. Happy Monday to y'all. Beautiful Monday after a beautiful weekend. Wisconsin Voices, Be a Voice Radio, WNOV 106.5, 860 106.5 FM. Call in to talk to us if y'all got anything that's going on or just highlighting some weekend stuff. But we're going to get back into the political conversation. So slide right back in it. We are going to talking about these new legal challenges to these congressional maps. So it looked like the first lawsuit was filed in Dane County Circuit Court to contest the state's current congressional district boundaries. It follows the Supreme Court decision to intervene directly, raising the possibility of another judge-led redistricting before the 2026 election. This is important information, sir, and for everybody. And I know Jermaine, you was asking a little bit of question about that as well. But just to break it down, we already know the map is going to be a thing with the next election coming up across the country. So what is it looking like from what have you seen, David, just in the mix? And it seemed like it went away for a little bit, but then it seemed like the map thing is going to come back when it's the new people in town.
Yeah, this actually can be seen as one of the points of legacy for Governor Tony Evers. Okay. Him working on trying to create more fair maps and a more fair map process in Wisconsin. And after having maps that definitely were slanted towards GOP control, you now have more competitive districts that Democrats and Republicans can compete for. So you've seen that we've turned a corner. Mm-hmm. We have new maps that are now instituted in the Assembly, the Senate. And after those maps were instituted, you had Democrats that picked up more seats. So you saw more balance in state government. One of the things that you're now seeing around the country, and even coming from the White House, where President Trump has talked about highlighting the efforts in Texas, where they actually want to, they're saying, create more seats for Republicans, congressional seats, where they can keep control of Congress if they are able to win those seats. So it's being, you're seeing a mixed reaction. Some folks that are saying, now we get to play that game in California. If y'all want to play that game in Texas, Governor Gavin Newsom is now saying, okay, well, we see what Governor Greg Abbott in Texas Republicans are doing. Let's see what Democrats in California can do to countermeasure that. So it is a slippery slope once you go into deliberate efforts to try to slant those districts. And the main thing that really needs to be focused on is when it comes to who has control, it needs to be left over to the people to decide. So the more that we have more balanced districts, we have more of a chance to have representatives, senators at the and representatives at the state and congressional level that represent the views of a balanced district. And we've seen a lot in our politics where we have districts that aren't competitive at all. What sense does it make if I can only rack up 2-pointers, but you get to shoot 3-pointers all day, every day, and you build the lead in the game. So it's not fair. Yeah. How do we make it fair? Yeah. Try to make the rules and the district as balanced as possible. So that would be the effort that we would want to see, rather than the gerrymandering efforts that some folks are talking about. But it will make up for a very interesting election cycle, because we don't know what those maps in Texas are going to look like by the time it turns 2026 and it's time to vote. And we don't know possibly what the other districts are going to look like. Here in Wisconsin, you're seeing a challenge where the congressional districts weren't really touched. Fair maps had a chance to impact the state districts, but not the congressional districts. Okay. So now this suit is saying, now let's bring up the fact that we should challenge how those congressional maps in Wisconsin are drawn. You currently have a vast majority more Republican districts, and we would want to see a chance for more races to be competitive. Right now, the most competitive district would be House District number 3. Congressional member Van Orden serves in the Western Wisconsin district over there. That's a district that used to be represented by a Democrat. And then you have House District 1 with congressional member Style. So that's a Racine, Kenosha area. That's been a flip. That's sometimes been represented by Democrats, sometimes represented by Republicans.
Definitely red this last time around during the election. I mean, everything was, I was just looking at the map, and you was just looking at the areas that, like you said, that Western Wisconsin area that you used to see in certain spaces was a little more, even, or purple in certain spaces was definitely a little more red. The space around even Racine and Kenosha seemed like it was different. So I'm guessing the influence has changed greatly between, more in Kenosha and Racine the last, I guess, would you say 4 years or more, or what is it looking like as far as that change? Has that been was that like an overnight change, or was that like a kind of like a fading change into more of a conservative?
Yeah, it depends on the election cycle. If you go back to election cycles pre-2010, you've seen more chances where Democrats represent that district, and then post 2010 with the Republican wave, in 2016, you see these differences in how. Oh, cool! We got a call coming in. But you just seen these differences in how people can get engaged and who would represent that district. Okay. And how the tea leaves have kind of moved every election cycle. So. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, that kind of covers just some of the stuff that we've been seeing on congressional maps, and it'll be interesting to watch. Nice. Moving forward.
Look like you or I got a caller. So, caller, you're on Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. Good morning.
Hi, this is Desmond. I have a question or comment for David.
Hey, Desmond, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. I saw you on.
Much love to you. You've been doing great work in the community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's kind of why my call. I'm excited about some new places I see you're at. I'm hearing the show off and on. I'm working in and out, and so I decided to call in with the new selection process for the ED or the director of the Office of Community Wellness and Safety.
Oh, thank you for talking about that. That's a huge issue, and we want to make sure that we can give some light to that too. So give us some insight.
Okay, yeah, and that is one of my questions, to see if you were going to be taking up some of that light, or your new position over there with Wisconsin Voices. Is this an issue they'll be kind of addressing or not? The reason I ask is I have a lot of concerns on the community involvement at the last step of the selection process. And I just feel that the selection process should have been community involved from the very beginning. Is that an odd thing to think about, or is that a fair thing to think about?
No, I think that's a fair thing to think about. There are actually, and I'm glad you brought this up, there are 2 forums being hosted. And I want to get those dates in front of me so that we can make sure that folks know. Do you know when the dates are for the forum?
I believe one is tonight at South. I think it's South Division High School. Let me see. One tonight, Monday, July 21st at South Division Auditorium, 1515 West Lapham Boulevard from 6 to 8. And the other one is tomorrow at North Division High School, 1011 West Center Street, the same time, 6 to 8.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. And we're definitely going to share that throughout the show so folks can remember to attend those. There we go. July 26th. No, I'm sorry. July 22nd, which is tomorrow. There's one at 6 to 8 at North Division. Thank you for sharing that. And then there's another one on Thursday, July 24th from 12 to 3. That's 2 locations, Sherman Park and Washington Park. And it looks like there is am I looking at the right one? I hope I'm looking at the right one.
Okay, yeah, the one that I have says tonight, final candidates for the position.
Okay, I see the one tonight. Okay, yeah.
Right, okay. I don't have the one for Thursday. I'm glad you shared that.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
So yep, July 21st tonight at 6 at South Division. Yeah.
Okay.
So
okay.
I think the biggest thing is we know that the violent situations that are happening across our city, across our community, across our state, really, because we're seeing it throughout the region. But there are important factors that need to be taken into account of how do we invest in the right actions and preventive solutions to stop these situations from happening in the first place. So first off, I want to thank you for your service and all the work that you've done in violence prevention.
I appreciate
up
that.
Until now, I know a lot of people across the community have a lot of respect for you and your thoughts around this. And then we want to make sure that the community is a part of the process in giving insight, selecting the next director. Right now, it's up to the mayor's office to nominate the person, and I believe they are confirmed as well by the Common Council. But we really want folks to make sure that they show up to be engaged. So please make sure that you are a part of the process. If you can't show up in person, make sure you submit your testimony to the Department of Administration. And then to the mayor's office so they can hear your insight on who should be picked. Right now it's down to 3 candidates, and they kind of got to three candidates kind of quickly. I think maybe some folks are hoping that could be a process where along the way you kind of see who would be up for the selection in different rounds. So you want to give any of your thoughts on just how things are looking right now, and what really you want to see?
I will be a bit more, I'll be very nice about it. I think that the community should have been in the process a long time ago. I think the candidates that have been narrowed down is kind of unfair that we only have one local candidate that's up against 2 non-local candidates. That kind of puts us in a odd predicament because we definitely want to ride for the home team. But unfortunately, sometimes the home team hasn't made the best decision, hasn't been the best under leadership in that office. So we probably should have had a better option of local candidates to pick from. That's my thought process right now. In a nice way, I think.
Yeah. No, that's great, and I really appreciate you for sharing that. Because there are folks that have been a part of the mechanism of violence prevention throughout our community, and we want to make sure that their voices are lifted because y'all have seen this firsthand. Y'all have been able to work on even the blueprint for peace together, and to talk about what is the best way to implement the solutions here. So the conversation doesn't stop here. We got a lot of engagement to do, and Wisconsin Voices definitely wants to see a number of our partners at the neighborhood and grassroots level engaged in this, because this is very much tied to the outcomes of our community.
Definitely. Thank you, David, and I look forward to seeing you across the hall.
Absolutely. So you're going to testify at the forum?
Yes, I'm definitely planning to make it tomorrow. I'm trying to see. I had some conflicts this evening, but I'm definitely going to get out tomorrow.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
Thanks a lot, David.
Yeah, thank you, Desmond.
You too. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, I'm really glad Desmond called in on that, because there are 3 candidates that are now in the selection process.
And that was something else that he was talking about.
Of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Abraham Morris of Orlando, Florida.
Yep.
And locally, you have that the one local candidate, Karen Tyler of Milwaukee. So we definitely want to see some more community engagement in this, and I would hope I'm sure the mayor's office would welcome more community involvement too. I always highlight, especially when I've been a part of some things in the past of, as much as possible, you have to double down on the outreach to the community. And I've been there in a number of different instances where sometimes that's that's lifted, and then sometimes that's sometimes the ball is missed. So,
yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. This reminds me of the Milwaukee Public School race. When you had
the
folks from
superintendent,
excuse me,
selection,
when you was people coming from out of town. We're not showing that we care about our community like we do from the top. If we just keep intertwining with folks who don't understand Milwaukee politics, and I'm talking about the inner politics and all that. I just think it's more important, like you said, we have to really connect with the community to really actually be for the community to take offices like this serious. You got to bring folks in there, and if you don't feel like it's enough qualified folks, start doing some more hunting. It's plenty of people out here who have this experience. Y'all not looking as hard because y'all not intertwined in some of these spaces to talk to some of these people. You might have to start reaching to former political people that ran in former political spaces, people that are on top of different organizations across the city. Stop just going off of the first 3-4 applicants. Oh, they're from out of state, they did the same thing in their city, but then look at their cities too. Their cities got crime, and did they get a hold of it like that? For me, I watched First 48. Louisville, Kentucky was on First 48 for years for me. So that was either Lexington, Louisville. I'm just saying, I don't know if bringing that type of energy or that person, that's my personal opinion. Not Wisconsin Voices. I just think that we need to keep talking to folks in our city to get these jobs done. There's too many intelligent folks in Milwaukee, and for us not to find what we need, outside of just having one person from here. So I'm sorry I was on a little rant, but I just think it's important to have Milwaukee folks at the forefront of these organizations here if we really going to be taken serious by the people in our city that we serving.
And even multiple local candidates would be a good look.
Yes, sir.
To be able to bring them to the table. I think a big part of this will be the community being able to have the chance to ask questions of the candidates. So if there were multiple local, and then also you can compare that to having outside folks too, and then give the chance for the community to ask those really, really important pointed questions, where if you are engaged in a neighborhood level organization and you're collaborating with the different groups that are doing the violence prevention work, there are certain things that you want to hear, there are certain things you want to confirm, and just like you highlighted in the superintendent selection process, there were a couple times where the community had a chance to be engaged, but it's really important that we double down, double, triple, quadruple down on the chance to get folks engaged, because listen, you can't put these fires out without the community in mind. And right now it's really hot out here. Like it's really, really hot out here. And I'm not just talking about the temperature, because it's so much happening. Man. And our community, and I believe, one of the things I always highlight is just how much of a loving community we have that usually doesn't get covered, that usually doesn't get highlighted. Because the situations of violence and things of nature will happen, and people forget about like how loving we actually are. But it's really important that those loving people have a chance to give their insight and their contribution to the solution, to the process of who's selected. So just want to make sure that we highlight that as much as possible. Okay. Like Desmond said, you do have some opportunities to give insight, and just so we don't confuse you, July 21st. So there is one tonight from 6 to 8 at South Division, where you can give some insight. And then there is another one July 22nd that will happen, co-hosted by Safe and Sound Executive Director Bridget Whittaker. So shouts out to Bridget. That discussion will be at North Division Auditorium at 6 to 8 on tomorrow. So today and tomorrow, those are the two. It looks like they're collaborating with Journey House for the one tonight on the south side at South Division, and then the one on the north side, they're collaborating with Safe and Sound and Bridget for that one. So please, Milwaukee, show up, get engaged. This is your opportunity, not just to vote, not just to do certain things, but this is about your insight, because we want to make sure our community is safe. We want to make sure our community is well.
Yeah, that part. Yes, appreciate that. We'll be back. Caller, hold on. We'll be right back to y'all, both of y'all. We'll be right back. Be a Voice Radio. Give us a minute or so. And we'll be right with y'all. WNOB 106.5, 860. I got caught up, man. I was looking at the calls and everything. We'll be right back, man. We get off this mic. Welcome back to Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices, here with Bryan Sanders, Community Outreach Organizer, and Executive Director David Bowen of Wisconsin Voices. Caller, you are back on the air. Thanks for being patient with us, by the way.
Thank you. This is Al Holmes.
Oh, Mr. Holmes, what's going on?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, the living legend himself.
How are you, Mr. Bowen?
I'm doing all right, brother.
Congratulations on your promotion, or whatever you want to call it.
Yes, sir. But thank you.
I have a problem and I have a question.
Yes, sir.
All of the politics that we deal with on a regular basis, no one ever talks about the root of the problem. No one addresses the root of the problem. It's called parenting. I wrote a program to Milwaukee Public Schools 3 years ago to address anger management at the middle school level to prevent some problems at the high school level. And they threw it in the trash. Politicians never talk about the issues that create most of the problems in our community, which is people making babies and nobody raising them. And we're not addressing the teen pregnancy. We're not addressing the sex trafficking. We're not addressing the issues that create a lot of the problems in our community. If people make babies, they have a responsibility to parent them, to raise them to be as good as or better than they are. And our systems should address that on a regular basis. But it did not. Somebody please tell me why.
Well, I appreciate that call, Mr. Holmes. I appreciate everything you've been able to do for the community. Talking about parenting is a big part of how we make sure that parents have everything that we need. So we want to make sure that parents do get supported in our community. Bryan, you want to say anything on engaging parents? Because on behalf of Wisconsin Voices, you handle our outreach and you're out engaging the community and parents all the time.
I mean, my background has been like I worked at Job Corps for a while, St. Charles, and I can't even lie. Mr. Holmes is on point. The irresponsibleness in our community when it comes to just having kids and all that. That's a whole other subject. We can go deep into that topic. But yes, I agree that it is at home. I mean, I just remember some of the parents and adults that I used to have to engage with trying to get day passes for my students at Job Corps. So I do understand the dynamics and working with I was a person that was raised in a household that was my aunt, my granny, my grandparents, and they were my primary caretakers, and I could have been lost in the sauce like a lot of people in the city if I didn't have that little focus in my life. So it really does. It's home all day. I mean, even if you just got that one solid person in your life that's bringing that structure and bringing that reminder of make smart decisions, and keep, a lot of these folks that haven't heard that type of conversation. So that's just on the light level. And I agree with Mr. Holmes where we need to go dig deeper into these conversations. And it's a lot of uncomfortable conversations that need to still be had in Milwaukee that we are running from, and we just keep saying, oh, it's the kids and about. No, we got to talk about the lack of people not being smart in this decisions to procreate too as well. So, and that's a little deep, but I know, it's just what it is, One
of the things I highlight is like the village. That's what the village is there for, and that's to pick up the slack wherever it may exist.
They don't even got them like that, like they used to either. Like we see them.
I've had students that literally lived in the same neighborhood as the radio station right now, and they had to go through dynamics where they were the ones that had to get themselves to school. They were going through all types of situations where their home stability was just not there. So as an organization, when I was working at Urban Underground, we just tried to support them as much as possible to help usher them through that process so they can at least make it to high school. If we can help them in that process, help them graduate high school, they have a much better chance to be able to succeed and move on to do great things.
We can increase that village.
The community does have to step up because we can't control people's decisions.
We can't. We're trying to increase on the reactive side is just creating a structured village for the ones that don't have it. And that's just going to be included. And for us to work like that, we have to have more funding in our communities. We have to have more folks, more Black men stepping up to the plate, more young, successful Black men and women in our city that's doing things that and the ones that are doing it so they can get the recognition and the grants and the support to make these villages and to create these new places for these young adults that don't have it. Looks like we got
one more call. We can jump on another call.
Cool. Hey, good morning.
Yes, excuse me, gentlemen.
Hey.
Excuse me. I just want to give a shout out to Bryan.
Hey, what's going on? Good morning.
How you doing, young man?
I'm doing pretty good. So yourself?
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here for a minute. But Bryan, I just want to say, sir, thank you so very much for being there. Where's Joe at?
Joe's out sick today. Probably on the island of Hawaii or something.
Again.
He out, but shout out to Joe.
Maybe.
Shout out to Joe.
Shout out to Joe. Hey, by the way, Bryan.
Yeah.
I'm just a Marine. But in a way, sir, let's get past that. Hey, Joe. Hey, take care of my fellow veteran. But Bryan.
Yes, sir.
To the honorable gentleman in the studio. Gentlemen, I just want to say thank you so very much for being there, gentlemen. And don't get mad at me for saying something like this for real. Part is, we're going through a whole lot of struggle. We're going through everything. We got this president going through trying to take away DEI and all that kind of stuff, trying to take away our history and stuff like that. But we're being strong, and what this gentleman in the studio is trying to do is keep it together, and don't let that happen. And excuse me for being like this, gentlemen. The gentleman, I just want to say thank you so very much for being there. And this old crazy, good for nothing JT. But much love to all of y'all.
JT.
Much love to all of y'all. But anyway, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I want to say, you talk about Mr. Al Holmes. I don't know Al Holmes all that much, but he's a veteran, served in the United States Army in Vietnam before I did. Again, I used to have a gentleman that used to call in. His name was Tyrone Dumas.
Oh yeah, Tyrone, Mr. Dumas for sure. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We went to West Division today. So, gentlemen, excuse me for a second, and I'm just going to say this respectfully. Hey, Mr. Jermaine, right out. Good afternoon to you, sir, and good afternoon to Mr. Devo. But anyway, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. JT.
Yes, sir. What I'm trying to say quickly before I have to go, and you have to go, but West Division used to have a swimming pool back in the days, 1968 or something like that. Could y'all help me on that?
Oh man, we a little younger than that. We wouldn't even know.
You know.
Yeah. But thank you for calling, JT, man. Call us back in tomorrow. We're gonna tap in. We just wrapping up real quick. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
And thank you for taking my call, gentlemen. That's what I want to say, though. Thank y'all for being for real. Thank y'all for watching out for the community.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you.
Much love.
Much love to you. Thank you. All right, so
you got a whole fan base out here. That's kind of cool to see. That's kind of
cool. Fan base and slid over to the Be a Voice fan base. So we take it. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I was going to highlight, because he even highlighted the actions of the current presidential administration, and they made a decision in the last HR one. Mm-hmm. They call it the Big Beautiful Bill. I don't like calling it the Big Beautiful Bill. But the bill cut a lot of funding for very important community initiatives. Mm-hmm. One would be Job Corps. Mm-hmm. The same organization used to work at. We had young people that were living at Job Corps at a time where the village needs to step up for them because their home situations were unstable. So Job Corps created housing for them, and they no longer have that housing at Job Corps. That's a big issue. And then also that bill also cut a lot of funding in gun violence prevention and violence interruption community funding. So to be able to prevent violence and stop it so it does not spread. There are a number of national partners that we are connected with, and we'll be able to engage them throughout this radio program in the future and bring them on. But those things are hurting our community when you start seeing these situations and realize violence is like it's like a disease. It spreads if you do not treat it, and it's spreading a lot right now.
Yeah, big time. And yeah, we'll have more and so much more to talk about. And I think it was a great conversation. I like having you on the show, man. Go ahead, yeah. You're natural, huh?
I might have to fit in a little bit.
Next time I'm gonna have my polo on and my slacks like David, then we make it look natural. I look like I just came from playing basketball or working out or something. But yeah, I appreciate you for coming on the show. Thank you for all your insight. We do is everything we didn't tap into. We just tap in tomorrow. Just have some more conversation about what happened out in Oak Creek. Of course, any other political updates we have, any organization things that's going on, and then y'all community. If it's something that I want to talk about, if it's something that we need to address in a civic engagement, policy, political work, something going on, community that Wisconsin Voices needs to get out there, let us know. We want to make sure that we are in the loop, and we will make sure that we get that information correctly and factually to y'all as well. So
Bryan will be at the forum tonight, and you could report out on how the forum went tomorrow on the show, and hopefully we can push more people to go to the forum tomorrow as well on the Office of Community Wellness and Safety.
All right. So, Be a Voice Radio, Wisconsin Voices. God bless y'all. Be safe. Enjoy the day. Cover up your face mask. Wear the face mask. Watch the air. Peace.